How the rich use time to grow their money. In this presentation, I'm going to be sharing everything about the time value of money and how you can use it to build wealth for yourself. So, what does the time value of money means? The time value of money is a financial principle that simply means money today is better than money tomorrow. So, simply means 1 naira today is better than 1 naira tomorrow. 1 million today is better than 1 million tomorrow. $1 today is better than $1 tomorrow. So why is 1 naira today better than 1 naira tomorrow? The reason why money today is better than money tomorrow is because of the earning potential of that money. Because a specific amount of money has more value today than the same amount of money in the future. And because decisions are made today, right? So there is a lot of values inherent in every money you hold today. And that is why money today is better than money tomorrow. Because a money or a piece of money you don't have with you now, you cannot make financial decision on yet. Until you have the money, you cannot make a financial decision. And that is why the money you have now has inherent earning potential. And so what you do with that money is very important. And that is why the money today is better than money tomorrow. So we'll be looking at some factors that influences the value of money. Some factors that influence the value of money. Number one is inflation. One of the factors that determines the value of money is inflation. And you will see that here it means that things are increasing in prices. 1 million today buy more things than 1 million in the future due to rising prices. So if take for instance you have 1 million now to buy something, after if you delay it for 1 year, you may need more than that 1 million to buy that same thing. Let's just take for instance a car. You want to buy a car now, you may need 5 million naira to buy a car now, but if you delay it to about probably a year later, you will need more than 5 million due to inflation in that car price. And that is what happened. So because inflation affect the value of money, you as a person, you want to be in a better position to enjoy the benefit of inflation and not disadvantage because of inflation. So insight into time value of money position you to become smart money manager, to become smart spender, to become smart investor, as we'll still look further in the subsequent slide. So another factors influencing the time value of money is the returns that could have been earned if funds were invested or effectively utilized. So if you have money now, you could earn returns, which is better than a future money you don't have yet, because you could earn returns if you invest money. So the third thing is uncertainty. Uncertainty can affect money. You could probably suddenly just face a challenge that that wipe off the money. So there are uncertainties that you can't even predict. Do you get it now? So uncertainty is another factor that can influence the value of money. So what does this mean to you as a young professional? What does this mean to you as a young adult? What does it mean to you as someone who is intentional about building wealth? So number one thing is spend now. If you want to be intentional about the time value of money, you have to be spending now. Because of inflation, you have to be spending to avoid inflation. And because I asked you to spend now, it doesn't mean that you have to be spending on anything, right? Because of inflation, because of uncertainty, you need to spend now to be in a better position against inflation. So what do you have to spend on to beat inflation? Number one is you have to spend on important things. This is your living expenses. The important things are things you need to live on. these are your monthly living expenses. Your essential expenses are your living expenses. So you need to start spending, because if you don't spend, these things increase. Do you get? These things will increase in prices. A bag of rice you delay will worth more next month or next year or in 3 months later. So what you want to do now is you want to ensure that you have your living expenses, met early enough, and that is just it. That is wisdom. So another thing you can also do is that you want to pay off debt quickly. And that is the second thing you can do to spend wisely, to be at the top of your game when it comes to the time value of money. You want to pay off your debts quickly, most especially the appreciating ones, those ones with high interest, those ones appreciating against you. Debt like commodities, like the things you need and buy in the market, are also appreciating against you. And it's not just the rate that you got those loan alone. They're also appreciating. There are hidden value of those debt that you don't know. Because the longer it takes for you to pay a debt, the higher the hidden value, the real cost. So loans are issued with a nominal rate, like the interest rate you got those loans. But there is a hidden cost for every loan because of the longer tenure. Just the same way when you invest money, and the longer the tenure, the longer you earn, because of compounding effect. So because of the monthly repayment on those debts and the time period of servicing those debts, there is a hidden cost due to the longer tenure. So it is very important for you to also look at paying off debt now, as early as possible. You need to start paying off debt appreciating against you. So the third thing is buy in bulk where necessary to reduce costs. Buy in bulk where necessary to reduce costs. Now that you've identified that buying meeting your living expenses early is a good move, then you need to buy in bulk where necessary, because when you buy just maybe few things of these important things, you might need more, and when you come around to get those more in the market, you suddenly realize that they are now more expensive. So you want to buy in bulk. It can save you cost. It can save you, it can reduce your cost. So you want to also look at buying bulk where necessary. So all of this insight I'm sharing, it will mean that you will need a plan, a spending plan, to be effective about it. So number 4 is that you prioritize less inflating alternative. You prioritize less inflating alternatives. So what does this mean? It means that if you want to buy something and that thing is now expensive, you could look at buying an alternative. What can I buy instead of buying this thing that is still more or less cheap? Let me give you an example. Maybe you want to buy a piece of bread, and it's very expensive. You could go for an alternative, maybe a bread made of flour. You could go for wheat bread, or maybe it is wheat bread that is expensive. You could go for flour bread. Do you get it now? I'm just making an example here. Do you get it now? There are alternatives. There are alternatives that are not inflating than your first choice. So if in a case you have something that is very expensive, like now phones for instance, you want to buy iPhone, and you notice that the rate at which iPhone has inflated is more than your plan, more than your earning capacity, or more than your budget, you could go for an alternative. You could go for maybe Samsung. If it is Samsung, you could go for iPhone. If both are not within your capacity, you could go for an alternative like Android and other smartphones. So that is prioritizing less inflating alternative. If tomatoes in the market suddenly becomes expensive, you could go for tomato paste. Do you get it now? So I'm giving you perspective to prioritizing less inflating alternative. So another thing you want to do be at the top of your game is to lend now. Lend money out now. You see, it's not going to be the usual way of managing your money anymore once you understand the time value of money. You spend now. The second thing you want to do is you lend now. And what is lending now if you are spending it all? To lend, you are not spending 100% of your inflows, and that is just it. So to also play the game of time value of money, you need to lend your money now. That means you need to invest, you need to save money and invest for returns. So you need to invest your unused income to appreciate the value of money and generate returns. So that is one thing you want to do if you want to really appreciate the value of money you have now. You want to invest your unused income. Your monthly unused income should go into stocks, it should go into bonds to generate returns for you. So you can become a lender because you understand that money has value. Do you get it now? Money grows with time. Money grows with time. And money grows because you made decisions to grow it. In order to build wealth, you need to be aware of the value of money parallel with time. Parallel with time. So you have to stop things that you don't need that are already inflating and you keep buying them. And you also need to invest your money so that they appreciate in value and also generate returns for you. So another thing you want to do is that you want to now use these returns, these gains to meet your other spending. So the returns you are generating from your real capital, you can now use it to meet other lifestyles, your wants and goals. So this is where you use returns on investment to meet your other spendings. These are now your non-essential spendings. Maybe you want to travel, you want to go on excursion, you want to go to the cinema, you want to plait your hair, those flashy hairstyles, or maybe you want to shape your hair, you want to have a unique cut, those non-essential things you can have a spending plan to meet them maybe quarterly or semi-annually or even annually. Do you get it now? When you've appreciated your money and generated sufficient returns to meet those needs, you can always meet them. So the last thing on this slide is you want to choose and match investment with your future spending plans and financial goals. So that is very important. You make investment goals to match your spending plans. All this insight I'm sharing is as good as your financial plan. So if you don't have financial plan, if you don't have a spending plan, you'll see that you will not be able to even utilize what I'm saying. You'll not be able to use all these free insights. So the next thing you want to do to step up your game as far as time value of money is concerned is to borrow money now. Borrow money now. So you want to borrow money for a spread. And what is spread? Spread just means returns on investment minus cost of borrowing. So if your spread will be positive, I think it's a good thing to also do, because also if you are considering building wealth, you want to also consider speed. The speed at which you are building that wealth. What is 50 million when you are now maybe 60 years of age? What is 100 million when you are 100 years of age? So it is very important to build wealth, early enough in life. So you need speed. So, and if you need speed, sometimes you will need to consider other people's money. You will need to consider borrowing money to build wealth. So if you want to borrow money, you can only borrow money for essentials and leverage only. Borrow money for essentials. So your living expenses or your things that are very non-negotiable about you and your finances is what you should borrow for. And most importantly, borrow money for building wealth only. And that is it. So if you are borrowing money for building wealth, that means the returns on that debt the returns, the debt now is used for investment, and the returns on that debt must be greater than the cost of the borrowing, must be greater than the interest paid on that loan. Do you get it now? So it's very important you borrow money to build wealth only. And then number two is that you do your assignment to ensure that you have a positive spread. Do your assignment. Sometimes when you see loans with maybe a specific rate, it may not be the real cost eventually, most especially when you have longer tenures for some loans. You need to do your assignment. Make sure you've done your assignment before you borrow any loan. Do your assignment, calculate it, know the interest you are paying monthly, know the total interest after the loan period, then calculate, look at the business or investment you want to go into, calculate the interest within to match the loan period and see if it will be a positive spread. So don't just assume it's going to be positive. So do your assignment to ensure that whatever loan you are getting must generate returns that will beat the cost of that loan. And that is how you can use loan or debt now to build wealth. So number three is that you should borrow for short tenures to avoid paying more. Excuse me. Like I said, all debt has real cost, and all investments also have their real cost. So you want to, in the previous slide, I talked about lending for returns, right? That means the longer you invest, the longer the tenure, the more you'll be earning effectively. That what we call effective rate. You'll be earning, there will be some real hidden value due to compounding. In the same vein, when you are borrowing for longer tenures, there will be some real cost you are paying to your creditor, which of course it is not to your advantage. So you want to do short tenures for debt, max a year, but consider shorter tenures. If need be, you can go 2-3 years, but max I would advise a year for loans. If you want to borrow money, consider shorter tenure. 3-month tenures will be fine if you can generate a spread within 3 months, 6 months. These are cool. But if you are borrowing for longer tenures, you have more to pay to your creditor. So look away from longer tenures. Only borrow for short tenures to avoid paying more. And then lastly, pay lump sum early to reduce hidden real cost of debt. So if you borrow money for investment and you realize quick gains from your investment, always pay lump sum to reduce the hidden real cost of debt. Like I said earlier, there is a hidden cost of debt, and there's also a hidden gain for every investment you make. So these are insights you really want to understand about the time value of money if you want to build wealth. So the game changer is frequency. I'm almost rounding up, but I want you to take this. The game changer is the frequency. Is the frequency in making monthly contribution to build wealth, and the frequency in compounding it. The longer it takes for your money to keep making money and your interest to keep making more interest is the game changer. If you are able to allocate capital on a monthly basis, and those capital you allocate are building wealth and compounding, then you suddenly realize that little things becomes big eventually. This little habit suddenly becomes something you cannot explain. It goes exponentially powerful, and you are just wild. So look at a quick example. A future value of 10,000 at 20% annual interest compounded monthly. You see, if you invest 10,000 naira monthly, that is capital. You are doing the 10,000 on a monthly basis, and you are compounding it at 20% per annum. You have 233 million. 233 million after 30 years. That's crazy. Just 10,000 naira on a monthly basis for 30 years. You have 233 million. So this is telling us that monthly contribution plus compounding is powerful. Do you understand? But if you do 10,000 once, 10,000 once, and the interest is being compounded monthly, so there's no, there's no frequent capital, there's only frequent compounding, then that 10,000 naira you did once will become 3.8 million after 30 years, which is better. Both are cool, but 10,000 monthly is is the real game changer, is where wealth suddenly becomes like magic. So without compounding, you still have 4 million. Without compounding, maybe you are taking the interest to meet some other goals. There will be some case where you need investment to serve as an income source, and you are taking the interest to meet other things. So without compounding, 10,000 monthly will become 4 million after 30 years without compounding. And then just once, 10,000 once after 30 years without compounding will become 70,000. You can see that it's better to have your capital rolling every month. It's better to have it rolling, frequently. It may not be monthly for you, it may be quarterly, it may be annually, but have your capital and compounding frequently. In the long period of time, the magic happens. So I want to advise you to implement everything I've just shared, and you see little things you are doing now become solid and become the game changer in your finances. Thank you.